Hello and welcome to Gamers8 and welcome to day 2 of the PUBG Mobile World Invitational. My name is Banks and I am your host and I'm coming to you live from the Gamers8 Arena in Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia. Now many of our teams hit the ground running yesterday, but it would seem that the squad with the target on their back going into day 2 is Vampire Esports, but the competition is far from over. So remember, if you are in the Gamers8 Arena or if you are at home watching this, there is $3 million up for grabs across the next 2 weeks. So, I guess you could say the pressure is on. So, let's keep this train running and go over to the desk where they can break everything down before we dive into our first map of the day.
We're going to break so many things down. I'm Jason Kappen, your host here for PMWI 2022, hopefully for the next 2 weeks if I don't get my job taken away from me, but I think I'm doing an okay job. Two gentlemen who are doing a phenomenal job, though, are my analysts, is Maxman and Kolaris there on the end. Gentlemen, we've had an exciting first day of games, but we still have another day of play to come. And even before then, we have a special man to introduce here on the desk. We have Sir Tanny coming in from Vampire Esports, the coach and analyst for the team. First of all, man, welcome to the desk. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me here, sir.
Oh, man. Yeah, the thing is, if you do too well today, we're going to have you back every day. So maybe you don't want to be too good.
I hope so.
But let's dive into this right off the bat. How did you guys prepare coming into PMWI?
I think we have a bit time to prepare because when we just finished the PMPL Thailand and at the 11 p.m. and then 6 a.m. we had to fly to here.
Oh wow!
So we don't have a time to prepare much. But I think my players just they are already ignition the engine from the PMPL, so they can play just like they want to play for now.
To be fair, right, that's kind of the best way to prepare for an event like this is to play another event right before and you're ready to go, right? Go ahead, man.
Like yeah, exactly. I mean, you're on a high. It's going so well for you guys so far. But I want to know, like, this is right now one of the biggest offline events we have in PUBG Mobile. How do you and the teams, adapt to this new offline event with all the teams here?
I think it's a big pleasure to be here because this is the biggest offline event for the long time since 3 years ago, and we have competed the Southeast Asia tournament just like 2 months ago in Malaysia. So I think it's a bit excited because we can meet another champions team from another league, just like that,
So I guess my question is a bit more game specific to start things. Obviously, game 1 for you yesterday was fantastic. I really enjoyed watching it. What were the most important moments for the team in what was a difficult game, to be honest?
Yes, sir. I think it's a really difficult game because the circle just don't come to us.
Yeah.
They have to push us to the circle. But I think the most important thing is my players. They can get a lot of kills, the elim points earlier, so that's why they can make the more confidence in the early game. You can see if they can shoot, they just go push forward to get more kill. This is my team style. They have a strong team fight, but if they just stay but play very slow, the diesel engine. They're slow to burn, just like that. Just like that,
So I think you're talking to the right man about I guess my question is I like my engines to start things. But I mean, obviously game 1 for you yesterday was fantastic. And it's cool that your team I really enjoyed watching it. What were the most important moments for the team in what was a difficult game, to be honest?
Right? I think it's a really difficult game because the circle with the circle just don't come very slow. They have to push us to the circle. But I think for looking for the best position to get in my players, we will get a lot of kills. This is the elim point, the old center of the so that's why they have more opponent than the confidence in the early game. So you can see they rotating up and down to find the best position. Just like yesterday, on the first game we can go straight. That is to the right top. My team style. They have a strong team fight. But if they just stay very slow,
okay. I feel like I'm going to ruin the fun because talking about the best opening game about game 3. Unfortunately, which is the Sandhog.
Talking to the right man about
the altercation you had with TJV Esports, right, when they were leaving Samir.
Actually, we were speaking about it before, and it's cool that your team likes to go for
is there like some changes you might want to bring to the table?
Checkpoints and next to move to those important locations.
The TJB, they are in my team style. We are playing with the Sami. Sami is really slow. They play on the Sami. We are outside the circle. For looking for the best position to leave the city for the Nigma, we will go forward think about to us. and we don't have any information because they have more opponents than the around. The gun, we are rotating up and down to find the best position. Just like yesterday, on the first game, we can go straight to the rooftop. But we not. We are going up just there, with guys, and then it's under the bridge communicating about just like that.
I feel like I'm going to ruin the fun because talking about the best opening game we've seen in a long time here. I want to talk about game 3, unfortunately, which is the Sandhawk. There was a lot of altercation you had with TJ. You tried to fix the version right when they were leaving Summit.
Even more. Come on.
That's the proof you don't touch TJB's like healing spots, right? They're not going to be cool with that one. I mean, you guys definitely then have a plan in mind, then I guess to avoid that from happening once again, like the next 2 Sandhawks.
In the Sandhawk. Normally, TJB they play on the mid kit, but they made their collect around the ruin, and then give it to, and they leave the city for the Nigma, and then they go forward to. We have a strategy on the Sandhawk, and we don't have any information because there's just only mid for playing because it's easier to get more points and something like that, and the fluke better than going to fly area. He just know much looking.
And is that also your focus because you've got 18 teams in the lobby, right? Is that still your practice time?
And there's a lot of miscommunicating about the information, so we don't know where they just come for. And after that, we're driving fast to rotate around back.
We don't have too much time left to do, but we kind of want to talk about like the teams you're looking out for.
I think you tried to take some
production, please. Come on, even more. Come on, TJB in that match. And
that's the proof you don't touch TJB's like healing spots, right? They're not going to be cool with that one. I mean, you guys definitely then have a plan in mind, then I guess to avoid that from happening once again.
In my mind now is STE and TJB. Normally, we play with the mid kit. We collect around the ruin and then give it to rotation. And my players fight to get. And we have a strategy. It's very hard to fight with them in the early game, so we have to focus on kit for playing because it's easier to get more points in the top 3.
They did pretty well yesterday.
Better than going to fight. They're really great. They are good.
And is that also your focus because you've got 18 teams in the lobby, right? Is that still your process time?
There's a lot of the team around us, so we don't know where they play. I think it's they have, so it's a safe way to play with them.
Okay, well, so Teddy, thank you so much for joining us. I do want to give you a quick chance to give a shout out to fans out there, whether you want to do it in English or in 2 different ways, right? Going into the event, who were the teams that you were like, okay, these are the real contenders? And then after day 1, who do you think are the new contenders? Are there any new people that you are like, oh, we didn't keep an eye on them? I'm sure you made a ton of new fans out there. Thank you so much for joining us. And we wish you guys obviously the best of luck today. Let's try to jump into the match, the format of the entire event. If you guys did join us yesterday, you might have missed on exactly how things will go. And this is going to be, as we mentioned before, a little bit different. 16 teams no longer happening in this event. It's going to be 18 teams. And we did get to see yesterday in particular how that's affected quite a few different teams.
Any concern about
Falcons? Yeah, I mean, you saw it with that first game like Vampire. We were just talking about it. You take a central position like that, they become even more valuable because you can pick up basically so many more eliminations off the back of that. 24 on that first game for Vampire. And I also understand, right, we were talking about it right there on the interview. The heal strat just makes also a lot more sense in the Sandhawk because there's so much unknown, the fight's so hard to take.
I do want to give you a quick chance to give a shout out to fans out there, whether you want to do it in English or in Thai.
And if you really want to get down to specifics, I can understand his point about Sandhawk and TJB being kind of aloof and kind of everywhere. You're in Sami, you're in moving kind of up on that west coast as well.
I'm sure you made a ton of new fans out there.
It's not easy to know exactly where they are, especially when there's so many teams.
And wish you guys obviously the best of luck today. Let's try to jump into the match
because we expect, you guys did join us yesterday, you might have missed on exactly how things didn't expect Vampire to do it, so if they don't have that altercation with TJB, it's going to be a like 5 or 3 teams for second place.
They all want to loop Meds down there, which is the biggest
part. That's affected quite a few different teams. As you can see here,
you saw it with that first game like Vampire, we were just talking about it. You take a central position like that, they become even more valuable because you can pick up basically so many more eliminations off the back of that 24 on that first game for Vampire. And I also understand, right, we were talking about it right there on the interview. The heal strat just makes also a lot more sense in the Sandhawk because there's so much unknown, the fight's so hard to take. Heal strat
but gentlemen, I'm honestly excited to see how this will turn out. I mean, imagine,
and if you really want to get down to specifics, I can understand his point about Sandhawk and TJB being kind of aloof and kind of everywhere. You're in Sami, you're in moving kind of up on that west coast as well.
Yeah,
it's not easy to know exactly where they are, especially when there's so many
haters, I should say. Sorry, a lot of fans are haters. It depends
interesting, right? It's going to be happening for sure, but I think that should be the main focus. Like the after party is didn't expect Vampire to do it, so if they don't have that altercation with TJB, it's going to be a like fight between 3 teams for second place.
All want to loot meds down
very
there,
original.
which is the biggest
already
there as well for Saudi Arabian fans.
As you can see here, ladies and gentlemen, we do have 2 days to play left in this main tournament. We have today the 12th and of course
the region as a whole to show the kind of strength that they're putting out right now.
The top 5 participants from this main event will be joining the invited teams in the after party showdown, which is going to be insanely exciting through the rankings and the $2 million, and of course the MVP, the gunslinger, grenade, master, eagle eye, field medic. I know, if I'm not mistaken, but gentlemen, I'm honestly excited to see how this will turn out. I mean, imagine again, in particular, you have Falcons that they make it into the after party showdown against some of the most known teams in the world, like the BTR.
We saw
that's a good chance that even if it's a calculator, they might get themselves.
We saw the grenade actually award. Yeah, there's gonna it's going to be really interesting to see how they're going to be approaching.
Insane haters, I should say. I'm sorry. A lot of guys are haters.
I think
it's going to be happening for sure. But I think that should be the main focus. Like the after party is going to be $1 million extra of potential prize pool. So
we still have obviously a lot to come up today here. I'm reminding you guys once again about Sony's
very original way.
The fact that RA is already there as well for Saudi Arabian fans, the Team Falcons continues to do as they do. That's awesome for the local fans and also just for the region as a whole to show the kind of strength that they're putting out.
They're also here on the desk as well. Considering what we've seen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting extremely closer to kicking off our first match of day 2. But I'm reminding you guys once again, the sick hype video rankings and the $2 million participate not only today, the gunslinger, grenade, master, eagle eye, field medic. I know, if I'm not mistaken, eagle eye is the average of your top 2 distance shots.
Yes.
That's who is the best one.
Exactly. I will not calculate it myself. I thought use a calculator. And
also, we saw the... Even if you use a calculator, you might get it wrong.
We saw the grenade actually awards in like... Star Wars has got like an insane amount of names.
I can't remember. I was keeping an eye on the eagle eye, and I think top was the eagle eye, and I think maybe he was even grenade as well, actually. So
yeah, it's one of Star Wars for sure.
Yeah, they're doing that.
Well, we still have obviously a lot to come up today here. I'm reminding you guys once again about Sony Xperia and 1Z created in collaboration with esports professionals and his official smartphone partner here with PUBG Mobile. Make sure you guys check them out. Make sure you guys pick them up down here. They're also here on the desk as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting extremely close to kicking off our first match of day 2. But I'm reminding you guys once again the sick hype video of the teams that will participate not only today, but in the next 2 weeks.
Legendary, feeling like it's my moment. We're slowing down now, we can move forward. We got the passion to drive, we ain't no holding back. It's undeniable, teams, we on the circle. Nobody can stop me when I get in my zone. Take it higher, our energy is everlasting. On another level, competition is in trouble. Making big numbers in the world, and that's what we do. We can never fall, we can never break. To be the greatest, we will do whatever it takes. Legendary, feeling like it's my moment. We're slowing down now, we can move forward. We got the passion and drive, we stay an undeniable team, we on the circle. Bring the fire like a dragon, hunger in the passion. Making history, our energy is everlasting. We're staying on top, team so supreme. Making big moves, the world has never seen.
If that doesn't get you hyped, I don't know what will. But before we do pop into our match once again, thanks Savvy Gaming Group here for making sure this event can be done and making it possible for all of us at home, all of us here in the arena to enjoy. Now, for you guys to enjoy other things, there's tons of things, tons of prizes to give away. One way you can do so is by changing your social media profile pictures that you are supporting and making sure that you post the official video about why you want to see that. Well, you can get some prizes. But ladies and gentlemen, we got to start talking about overall standings. We did have one day of play happen. We had 6 matches out of our 2 we have done and dusted, and kind of check in from sitting at the top. And as you heard us talking this presenting before, Vampire Esports in first place.
They're just looking amazing right now, Vampire. Like that first opening game,
so
like
hot right now.
They're so hot right now, Vampire. Oh, they're going over there, they're just flapping their wings, and like flying in first place currently by a pretty significant margin. The thing about the top 3 teams right now, we talked about it already
but before we do
extensively.
hop into our match, once again,
day one, mainly focused around Vampire, Star Wars, Team Falcons. These are currently the teams to beat. And there's a small gap that has been created between third and fourth, but there's still clear potential for teams below. If they get one good game, they're back in the race.
And the important thing that we took away from the fantastic interview actually with Sertani is the fact that, and they realize it too, is that some of these top teams, they're bringing very similar play styles across the board than those 3 teams. They understand that they're taking it slow, steady, playing those edges, playing for the position, and then the kills come, sorry, the eliminations come to them a little later on. Ultimately, he didn't quite mention Falcons in that, but they are doing a similar play style to him.
They're just looking amazing right now, Vampire. Like first opening game,
these teams, they're playing the style well. Whether or not that develops here throughout the next few days remains to be seen.
Flying in first place currently by a pretty significant margin.
We could all agree that
the thing about the top 3 teams right now, we talked about it already extensively. Like this is day one, mainly focused around Vampire, Star Wars, Team Falcons. These are currently the teams to beat.
You know what? We're going to find out if they're going to be able to do so. If you guys are familiar with the schedule, we'll throw it off on your screens really quickly.
There's still clear potential like for teams below. If they get one good game, they're back in the race.
And the important thing that we took away from the fantastic interview actually with Sertani is the fact that, and they realize it too, is that some of these top teams, they're bringing very similar play styles across the board on those 3 teams. They understand that they're taking it slow, steady, playing those edges, playing for the position, and then the kills come, the eliminations come to them a little later on. Ultimately, I'm not changing my bets. He didn't quite mention Falcons in that, but they are doing a similar play style, amazing team. And I do think eventually at the end of this, they will stand head and shoulders. Whether or not that develops here throughout the next 2 days,
I want to see Dambo and Kia step up today. We got to see them do so well when it came to PMGC, and obviously they do have every opportunity to do so. But as you can see here, the players are getting ready, we're getting ready, and hopefully the commentators are getting ready because it's time to head into our first match of the day. As you saw, we're going to find out what Aaron Gill. We get to see a massive 39-point game out of Falcons. Yes, not Falcons, sorry. Out of Vampire Esports. Yes, I should correct myself on that one. With 24 eliminations, the question is, can they do it again? I'm excited. I want to get some predictions out of you guys. All the action here in this first match. It's going to be Avenger and 7 Worlds Gaming.
I want to see Donuts keep popping
up. Thank you so much, Jason and the Desk. And what a fantastic interview as well we were able to have with the Vampire. It was so great to see. And of course, we're getting ready with the first game.
I'm not changing my bets.
Great to be here.
I'm still sticking with Star Wars all the way. I think they're an amazing team. And I do think eventually at the end of this, they will stand head and shoulders above the rest. I'll go with them.
Yeah, the build
I want to see Dambo and Kia step up today. We got to see them do so well when it came to PMGC, and obviously they do have every opportunity to do so. But as you can see here, the players are getting ready, we're getting ready, and hopefully the commentators are getting ready because it's time to head into our first match of the day. As you saw, it's going to be over on Aaron Gill. We need to see a massive 39-point game out of Falcons. Yes, sir, not Falcons, sorry. Out of Vampire Esports. Yes, I should correct myself on that one. With 24 eliminations, the question is, can they do it again? Gentlemen, they're going to bring you all the action here in this first match. It's going to be Avenger and 7 Worlds Gaming.
Match 5. Thank you so much, Jason and Desk. And what a fantastic interview as well we were able to have with the Vampire. That was so great to see. Exactly. Now we're just taking a look at how the first circle is going to be popping up for us soon after the plane path. We're starting over to Stalber and going down to Primorge. This eliminates a lot of potential drops in Milta, Milta the build-up. The build-up. Farm Novo is going to be hard to get to. Military is going to be hard to get to here, which is going to be really
analyst and coach was just able to say
first game of the day. I'm super excited to get things started here, 7, and obviously Damage also checking in on action.
And they are playing their game, and now they are starting to be consistent again, finishing off the day with the chicken dinner. Can STE continue that kind of performance here today on the first map? Getting that chicken dinner to finish off the game, we kind of saw between match 4 and match 5, and hopefully match 4 to refresh your memory, 15th place, because it's going to be a battle between these match 5, but then 9th place, 7 which team that actually, because they were able to make up so many points there with the eliminations. This was a team that just kind of came out of nowhere. Falcon Esports.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're just taking a look at how the first circle is going to be popping up for us soon after the plane path. We're starting over to Stalker and going down to Primorsk. This eliminates a lot of potential drops at that time. I mean, they were able to collect 20% shelter farm. Novo is going to be hard to get to. Military is going to be hard to get to here, which is going to be this circle is actually really good for this plane path. First game of the day, I'm super excited to get things started. A lot of the teams are going to be able to get into the highest damage. Also checking in on action. Again, thank you to Sony Xperia also in there. But right now, official Esports sponsor is really paving the way to have you guys on board. And now we see Regans and back-to-back actually kind of chasing each other. J-Way takes some shots. There's a DPS at play here, Flowers. C2.
Hopefully they will
see if we're going to be able to have some potential knocks. It's a little bit of a chase, actually.
But then you heard Jason say a team that actually surprised us.
The boys here in the coop are going to be leaving.
This was a team that just kind of came out of nowhere. And I'm pretty sure back-to-back is going to try to not lose anybody. This is a team that's currently in what's crazy to me right now is we're looking at the circle. Don't want to start off the it's almost the exact same circle that we got on the first game yesterday. And we know what Vampire Esports was able to do at that time. I mean, they were able to collect 24 at some point here. They are the NA hosts because they're the only NA team that are going to be participating in this next 2 weeks.
This circle is
right now it's
really
not
good
looking
for
like it's going to go
here.
their way.
We're flying in. Yeah, I'm lucky in that sense. A lot of the teams are going to be able to get into the that I can cheer for. I kind of hope again. We have Sony Xperia. We have Vivo Keat Stars, so I'm kind of fine with that. No, it's obviously super great to have you guys on board. And now we see Regans and back-to-back actually kind of chasing each other. It is J-Way takes the shots. There's a DPS at play here, Flowers. They have 12 more games to make up for it. See if we're going to be able to have some potential now that, you know, especially we have a new the amount of preparation you can do from the day-to-days here in the coop. So the question is, have they prepared? Have they spent that time?
And I'm pretty sure back-to-back is going to try to not lose anybody. This is a team that's currently in 18th place, dead or last. So you don't want to start off day 2 when you're wanting to make a comeback like this. And you can see the happening today, right? And treat today like your day 1. And something that back-to-back, I mean, at some point here, they are the NA hosts. They might as well because they're the only NA team that are going to be participating in this next 2 weeks. Right now, it's not looking like it's going to go their way.
Yeah, I'm lucky in that sense, you know, having multiple teams that I can cheer for my kind of home region. We have a Tom, we have Vivo Keat Stars. Yeah, exactly. And you can participate in the event solo obviously, or with your teammates that they've had a really rough start in that matter. It is day 2, so they've only played 33% so far. They have 12 more games to make up for it, which is going to be interesting to see. Now that, you know, especially we are, the amount of preparation you can do from day to day is huge. So the question is, have they prepared? Have they spent that time getting into seeing, okay, how can they improve going into day 2 here, and how well they're going to be able to do compared to some of the other teams?
Yeah, hopefully they went back yesterday, watched a lot of VOD, figure out what's going to be happening today, right? And treat today like your day 1. This is something that we were actually talking about before the show started. Yeah, they might as well treat this as their day 1 because their day 1 was absolutely awful. And for everybody watching at home, let's watch PMWI together. Complete daily missions to earn points. Once enough points are accumulated, tap on the rewards icon to claim the corresponding reward.
Yeah, exactly. And you can participate in the event solo or with your teammates that you usually play with. It's obviously easier if you're able to get that together with a whole team, and you can get the reward easily. But
I was going to say, we have seen some great skins.
Oh, for sure.
Especially the PMWI packs. And between August 4th and August 13th, they are going to be 50% off for the PMWI packs. Get a set straight away and 5 chances to draw PMWI treasure chest.
Yeah, and that's a further sale on the PMWI packs. And you can get 6 chances to draw the treasure chest from PMWI.
Well, what I'm going to be looking at here is, I mean, I would like to see some of the bottom teams. I mean, Virtual Gaming Squad. This was a team we saw a little bit like they didn't know what they wanted to do yesterday. I forgot which map it was exactly, but they weren't sure what they wanted to do. If they wanted to be pushing or if they wanted to be a little bit more patient. And you can see a bit of a disconnection between that team. I'm hoping today they went back, watched that VOD, and they're going to be more assertive on what they want to do. Whether it's aggressive or defensive, as long as everybody is on the same boat, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, especially the teams that were able to do well yesterday was the teams that were either very aggressive together as a team, moving together and getting the eliminations that they were for, or super heavy focused on getting the placements, trying to stay 4 alive as long as possible. Because obviously, if you are in a 4 versus 3 situation, you're the team with 4, you have the upper hand just by nature, by that. So that's the very hard focus. One of the teams that did that, obviously, was Donuts. We saw their game on a wrangle. They were able to hold on the barn, just ease the Pachinki, and then move out, and then take over control of the late game, which is very good to see, of course.
Yeah, and you're talking about Erngel. They ended up getting the chicken dinner, right?
Yeah,
and on top of that, they ended up the first game, 4th place, 8 Ilims. So far, Erngel has been working for them. Can they continue on this trend? And I mean, same with Vampire Esports. I know we've been talking about them, but I want to talk about them a little bit more because their damage is just out of this world. I think it's almost more than 2K damage than the other team with that 2nd place damage, which is going to be Donuts. To put it into context, the damage dealt from Vampire Esports, 9,503. Donuts in second, following them, is at 7,638. So just, you can see how much more aggressive Vampire Esports is right now.
Yeah, I really love to see how they're able to play. Damwon, another team that we've seen some from. As the guys are managing in a desk, we want to see more from them compared to what they were able to do at PMGC2. And, we're having big expectations to these guys. They are a team and a organization that have huge respect amongst all the teams here and globally. So let's see how well they're able to fare throughout.
Yeah, and I mean, you heard Jason say too, Damwon Kia. This is a team that just hasn't performed. We haven't seen them at all. We saw them getting eliminated over and over again, and they finished off at least they finished off the day with the 5th place and 2 Ilims. So maybe that'll spark up. Maybe they'll be able to carry some kind of momentum. I'm hoping it happens for Damwon Kia.
They're super focused on their placements. They want to get high placements, but considering that we have these 2 extra teams, the most of the points that you're getting in the total games here does come from eliminations, so they need to focus on that as well. But being able to still have, their top 10 placements, but they're just not able to convert some of these eliminations and not stealing enough kills like some of the other teams are really excelling at right now. On screen, Cielo from Vivo Key, we have a lot of teams that are already taking in some of these positions that we are close to the river, which is going to be really hard. Some teams are obviously taking some terrain that could be high ground or very easy to traverse across the river, or potentially gatekeep on some of the bridges that we see here on screen. So high ground here in the castle, overlooking multiple angles.
I was going to tell you, with Vivo Keyed, I was actually really impressed with how they were able to play yesterday. I mean, they started off the day in 8th place. I think at one point they were in the top 5, which is good to see that Brazilian team, we know them, how aggressive they can be, and we know how great they did in Sandhawk. I want to see them translate that a little bit more to Miramar, because Miramar was not the strongest suit. I know we're currently not playing Miramar, but I am already thinking ahead for that team.
Yeah, really looking forward to see if they're able to step up and show what they're made of. We know they're capable of great things. Also what we've seen both regionally in PMPL, but also the PMPL Americas Championship, where they did well too. Here we have Bucks Gaming on screen. Now next circle is going to pop here, and it is going to be a great one. The question is it going to be an odd one? Is it going to be a center one? It's going to be a center one. So actually, the vast majority of the teams are already in, but look on screen 7. There are some teams far outside the current circle.
Yeah, I mean, we heard the analyst from Vampire Esports said that STE, they're going to be looking out for that team because they're playing so slow. I think this is just a perfect picture of what he was talking about. Most of the teams are already starting to rotate. They're in vehicles. They're trying to position themselves. And guess what? Star Wars Esports are like, we're taking our time. We're not going to rush through this. We know exactly what we're doing, and I'm pretty sure they watched a lot of VOD review from yesterday and try to see how those teams were going to be rotating, especially since, in a way, this circle does kind of mimic a little bit of what happened yesterday with some of the Aaron girls. I'm gonna continue to expect ST is going to continue to just play it slow, as we do have an engagement here coming up. Damwon Kia going up against USG. Who's going to strike first? Who's going to get that first knock?
Yeah, this is one of the high ground positions that we saw really key for yesterday's game, that also ended close here in Rushock, obviously, with Vampire having 24 eliminations. Damwon Kia Song taking a lot of damage from the utility here, and a lot of damage can be put out. I want to see multiple nades. I want to see more, not just one nade at a time. I want to see nades on both sides, deep into this warehouse, that could potentially knock some of these Damwon Kia players first right now with an M16 in hand. Some more heals are popping off, and they're using the Molotovs to deny any peaks that are close. They don't want to commit much more to this fight here. Now, Virtual Gaming Squad takes on Falcons. And Gaddafi is able to take down Yusef.
And we were talking about Virtual Gaming Squad being decisive on what they were going to do, whether it be aggressive or defensive. Guess what? Right now, they're being aggressive. And ooh, powerful from Team Falcons, almost being able to get that nade. 1 HP? Are you kidding me?
Falcon returning the favor on the Virtual Gaming Squad. Super unfortunate for Faluji there, yeah. Never alone able to finish that off. Damar here on the front line. And Virtual Gaming Squad is splitting off here. I think Zeus could also potentially be taking an anchor position on the high ground or disengaging from the rest of his team. They need to figure out what they're going to do here. As you're saying, a little bit indecisive. We want to see them play together and really execute these situations a little bit better for them to pop up on the leaderboard. But it's obviously, it's very hard to defend a compound like that. So when you don't have any other teams around that are putting pressure onto Falcons, because it's far north in the circle, is most likely not going to end there at the moment. Now, Wildcats on screen fighting Vampire. Wildcats obviously coming out of Turkey.
And Vampire Esports, are they going to continue with that aggressiveness that we've been seeing out of them? And also, I know we're currently watching this fight, but with Virtual Gaming Squad, I'm glad that they decided to rotate one player out to get the angle. That's completely different than what we saw yesterday. A little bit more decisiveness in their aggressiveness. Love to see that out of them. And Wildcats, what are they going to be doing here? Are they sure? Are you sure you want to take this fight against the team that's currently outputting the most damage? If I'm them, I will probably need a confident booster. I'm going to go for it.
All right, next circle is slowly moving in here. Stalwart coming into the circle, joining just as this second circle closes here, 7. Let's hope that it comes close to them. Otherwise, they can just stay in their cars and keep rotating. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. Oh, it's going to pop north. Okay, so we actually eliminate all the rear play now. All the teams, they're going to be focused on getting across. Potentially, we could see some gatekeeping, some bridge camping, but most of the teams, they obviously want to get into some of these situations where they can lock down a compound, because in this circle here on the north side, there are not that many compounds available. You kind of want to fight for them early on. Obviously, also the road that goes on from Yasnaya up to Cerveny is a huge factor. There's not a lot of cover around that road, except for those few compounds.
And as I'm looking at the map here, I'm going to be looking at Stalwart Esports. How are they going to try to break into that circle? Are they just going to do a full-on rotation edge of the circle and slow it down as they've been doing? Or are they going to get a little bit more aggressive now that an opening is happening for them and try to reach that? I think they might just play that outer circle.
Yeah, we'll see. And also we saw just on the map real quickly that back-to-back is actually in front of them, so that could be rough for them. Let's see what the situation is going to be later. We'll jump into now. 4 rivals on screen coming out of Malaysia.
Oh, this is a fight that I want to see here.
This is a big one.
Adon Esports, please. You guys are currently in 16th place. It's a team that I expect a lot more, especially with the new player, Senna Texa. We saw some flashes of greatness yesterday out of that team, but just not good enough, hopefully today. And TJB, I mean, this is 6th place. I'm pretty sure they want to continue on that trend. They want to continue to position themselves within those top 5. Because remember, top 5 is the desk, and the analyst was saying they are going to be moving to next week when we do the after party, and that's going to be even crazier. Wait until you see what's going to happen. Now, I do want to let everybody know, currently watching between August 4th and August 13th, all users in the region of the top 3 teams will have the chance to win a prize, maximum of 1 award per user. Keep an eye out on that. And here we go. They are going to decide to engage. TJB is actually Box. Adon Esports might be wanting to back up, and Box is just going to be full sending it as he's able to run over a player with Kiss. And Box Gaming is just absolutely destroying the TJB players. There you go. There's a little bit of a break. There's a little bit of a trade for them.
Yeah, that's a rough situation. Let's see what they're able to do. Also, we can see Vivo Keed in the distance, and now all the teams are definitely moving into the circle, trying to get into a bit of an angle here. Box taking some shots at TJB, putting more pressure onto them. Can they continue? They try to eliminate them right now. Oh, Shao! No, he goes down. He's getting traded real quick. Sabu, insane by Box.
And it is going to be just Trismi. As Trismi is getting third party, he's going to hop on that car and just decide to back off as Vivo Kid was trying to get into that action. And I'm surprised, actually, that Adon Esports decided not to push the action even more. I feel like they might have been able to third party and at least get some free ilims. Some of the likes of what Vampire Esports was able to do on the first match yesterday. And here we go. Boss Gaming, trust me. Now it's just you. Now it's trying to find a place where you can maybe secure some of those extra points for your team. And guess what? Wildcats, Vivo Key, they want to get on that party too.
Defoe, can he do? He's going to try to go for the rest. No, he gets straight at Diego down, Adrian down. It's actually only McGrillen left here against Hexray and Boran. And Vivo Key is out. And we can hear our Turkish colleagues be pretty damn happy for that because it looks like they could potentially get both their players up again. Now Vampire rotations coming in. Solo Mega there with the DP28.
Yeah, and Team Solo Mega is going to get caught and he's going to get knocked right away. His team, though, is going to be able to position themselves. This is going to be an interesting fight, even though Vampire Esports don't have the height advantage. I would love to see how Team Soul is going to be able to defend this. They're thinking about getting away. I don't think they're going to have enough time. Hector decides to lay down. Can he play the snake? Can he get some knocks? He gets spotted and he gets absolutely knocked. Luckily for them, that distraction was able to just create some chaos. Some 2 players from Team Soul were able to get away, but guess what? Atani Esports, this is what I wanted to see. Try to third party something. Send a text, throwing some nades. Send a text, trying to get some angles. You see Choco in the car going around, seeing where the players from Vampire Esports are, and Choco's actually gonna full send it with a vehicle trying to spot somebody.
Now a replay of Vivo Key and Istanbul Wildcats, but let's go back to this fight here. Vampire Aton. Circle has popped again, and it's actually not close to these guys. They have to move. Vampire getting back to vehicles, trying to move on. And Stone jumping into the buggy. He's going to be rotating into Circle right now. A lot of damage. This is, again, they're fighting for terrain that is not inside the new circle rather than focusing on, all right, how are we going to get into the new circle? So you can see the focus is on the eliminations.
And the good thing there from out of Vampire, as we are seeing Wildcats just taking shots for rivals, is that Vampire Esports being able to just stay patient, stay calm, even though they did have 1 player down, make sure they control the chaos that was happening with the Tiny Esports. They were able to revive their players too, and they are going to have those 4 players. And we know what happened yesterday on some of the matches. You definitely want to have all those 4 players alive. Get any advantage that you can over the other teams.
Aton is slightly inside the circle. Wildcats are considering how do we get in. There's mostly open terrain here. I think they're going to try to fight this against Aton. And TJB is in the distance here, you see as well. A lot of teams on the west side here, 7, that are trying to make their way into the circle and get a grip inside the new circle that are currently being pushed by the blue zone. More shots coming in. The Wildcats taking a little bit of damage, but utility is being used very well. Shots coming on onto Aton. Choco has to hit the floor. While Boran hits a lot of bullets, he doesn't get a knock on that one.
Choco just barely being able to duck down just in time, and that smoke is going to help them out. Hopefully they can try to find a way to get out of there, because they're going to get sandwiched between Damwon, Kia, and Wildcats here. That's not a position that you want to be. And guess what? I think on the side, I was able to see some Team Soul players. There you go. Senatexa, being the smart player that he is, being the veteran that he is, trying to see if he can maybe make a push up or find some kind of angle to get a knock and allow his team to rotate out of there. Right now, for Atani Esports, it's not looking good.
Boran has to push in. He's in the blue zone. He does find a knock on Senatexa, and the rest of the guys from Wildcats, they're sending it in on the cars and the vehicles. X-Ray finds one on Senatexa too, finishes him off though. It's another point going their way. Boran taking some damage. He's going to be found by Bruno.
Bruno getting ran over. I thought he was actually going to be able to get somebody before he was found. He wasn't, and here we go. Wildcats, Atan Esports. This is massive for Atan. They need to be able, they need to win this fight. 666, just waiting, throwing some smoke, making sure he confirmed those elements. Those are great. That's going to be some points that are going to be a must. You never know what can happen. It can come down to just 1 point. Here we go. Is it going to be Choco? Is it going to be Wildcats? Who's it going to be? And then we have a player from Team Soul, Goblin, just waiting patiently. And this is actually something that we saw from Team Soul yesterday as well, being able to just slow it down. It was just 1 player. Once again, it's just 1 player as well. Yesterday, they ended up with a 5th place and 3 elims. Can they do that today? Can they get within the top 5 with just 1 player?
Yeah, nice finish by their Istanbul Wildcats. Are able to terminate them completely, eliminate them, and get the points on the board. A ton is out. That's the 17th team. Donuts here on screen. Stalwart has a decent position. The circle is getting very close, and the southern side of this circle here, where Stalwart and Donuts is under a lot of pressure from many teams and not that much space, not that much terrain available for most of these teams.
Yeah, and I was seeing some trades there on the Elim feed. I think it was back-to-back between RSG, and there you go, Wildcats out as well. Vampire Esports, here we go. The aggressive team, they're trying to find some people too. Not able to confirm anything there with 52 Esports. Looking around, trying to see if there's gonna cause some kind of damage. And Morph, I see Morph there on the other side of the gas line. As I talked about that, guess what? Vampire Esports continues with the nades, and they are knocking people as they are trying to get different angles. Fluke being able to knock Deku, but Gaddafi is starting to third party. Oh no, Vampire Esports starting to get third party from a lot of people.
There's so much pressure on this southern side here. Vampire Esports is out in 14th place. No placement points, but 3 elimination points gone their way. Soul is out as well. 15th place and 1 elimination for them here. Stalwart is really controlling this. They're able to maintain Pika, finding a lot of shots onto 52. Now that is 52 out in 13th place with 2 eliminations here. And now the placement points begin here from 12 and up, getting 1 point for that. So let's see how much further these teams can push themselves.
This is when it matters, and this is when we're going to see teams. What are you going to be doing? Are you going to just decide to go aggressive, or are you going to decide to go a little bit passive? Damwon Kia just getting 2 of their players confirmed and eliminated. And here goes Forrest, trying to find a different location because it wasn't working for them. Box eliminated in 12th place with just 1 Illim, too.
Enigma Galaxy as well out in 11th or 7th with only 2 eliminations. A lot of teams are going out early. Falcons going out in 10th, 2 eliminations. TJB under a lot of pressure from Damwon Kia. Damwon Kia again in these situations where they're able to get really good placements, but I want to see them able to finish this off. That is back-to-back out. They're out in 9th place, while Damwon Kia here, 2 players, but 7 eliminations. They've really stepped it up compared to yesterday. They did not get that many eliminations at all, and now they're able to combine both placements here.
We also saw TJB Esports getting eliminated, and look at the circle right now. I know you guys, you can see it a little bit on the top right. There's only 1 team that's inside that circle. It's going to be Morph as TJB gets pushed. And guess what? Oh, that was early. That was the replay. Yeah. Okay, threw me off. I was looking at the map, and I was looking at Morph, how they're just currently sitting pretty in that gas station.
Yeah, exactly. Morph is good in the gas station. Stalwart has the high ground. They actually have to come off that high ground lip there of the ridge, which means they're going to be fully exposed. The question is, how many more can they take with them? 4 rivals in a good situation. They are following with a lot of cars. They could potentially pull up under the gas station. There's currently no one doing that. Looks like they're going to be choosing to do so. Damwon Kia, it's still 2 players in this situation, but 7 eliminations is good. We only have 6 teams left with 18 players.
And here goes 4 rivals. 4 rivals trying to make the push and everything against RSG. RSG lining able to knock 1 player. Can he knock another player? He does, and he gets knocked himself. The other teammate trying to back him up. Lappy decides to lay it down and try to just slow down things a little bit. Can 4 rivals survive this? Or the grenades are going to start coming in there from GC RSG. And here comes the first knock once again from RSG, having the upper hand against 4 rivals, and now the angle started. No, nobody's going to be there. You want to look at the other side because Pempur is currently laying down. Can he knock somebody? He's not going to be able to knock somebody, but guess what? RSG survives. They are able to trace some of the people, and they are going to be able to confirm those Illims.
Yeah, with 4 rivals, they go out with 10. Let's see what Damwon Kia is going to be able to do. Junil Hef just here. Stalwart's under a lot of pressure. Need to use more utilities to get him either out or get up some of the soft cover from the smokes. He just spotted him. Action saw him. And Donuts is out on 5th. Shots coming in from Action again. One of our top fraggers here in PMWI so far. It looks like they're going to be able to get the rest off. Reckons also recovering from a really rough fight with 4 rivals, while Morph inside the gas station. There are only 2 players, so they are not going to move out aggressively on this. It's simply not worth it just yet. But we're down to just 3 teams. Reckons, Stalwart Esports, and Morph, and Reckons and Stalwart is the only teams with just 3 alive. Morph still 2. So let's see who can get the most out of this situation. But I want to say Damwon Kia did get 16 points just for that. That was actually a crazy good game for them.
It really was. I mean, 4 rivals, too, being able to get at least 10 points. Now, Morph, they've been here for a very long time. Everybody knows where they're at. I did enjoy what Rocky was doing in regards to just trying to find some angles, seeing what Star Wars Esports was going to be doing, and Star Wars Esports still slowing it down.
And this is the question, right? They know the circles on the gas station, and they know that they need to either clear Morph out. But if they start this fight with Morph, that means that Star Wars is going to push up and third-party that fight. And that's the really interesting part. Morph just wants to defend. You can see the utilities being thrown. Nice nade coming out of Vines. Double D right there. Fire actually really well played with the utility, while GZ is actually putting pressure onto Star Wars. Finds multiple with the vehicle explosion.
GC coming up huge, being able to shoot at that vehicle, exploded, and Top, I don't know if Top is going to get revived here. RSG playing this very, very smart, and Morph is just, as you said, backing them off with utilities, throwing nades, making sure that, hey, don't get close. Please don't get close. And I think, I thought he was going to be able to spot him right there. He was not. Tables have turned for Star Wars Esports. I think this, honestly, I'm going to say, I think it might be an RSG game.
Could be, very well, yeah, for sure. They are getting the rest off. It seems like Stalwart is outside. It's going to be a healing situation here for Scree. Let's see how much he can get out of it. No, Lightning keeps him pinned with that angle precision for Reckons. Super important here. Now the Molotovs are coming off in the corner to try to deny the peek around the corner. They want to maintain them inside this because the circle is going to move away from Morph eventually.
And this is going to be great for RSG. They know exactly where they were. They want to take care of Star Wars Esports. They have already done that. Let those utilities run down on them. And as you said, the circle is going to be moving on them. So this is just a patient game for RSG. And I love that some of the players are laying down, trying to get some kind of angle below that fence because you are going to be able to see those feet moving and seeing where they're going to be rotating. What are Rocky from Morph going to do here, as they are pretty much a pin? There's no other way around. I think Rocky, if you're going to try to go for it, I would say try to maybe go around it and just yellow it.
Yeah. Let's see if they... Or the question is, how much utility do they have? Can they do some counter smokes? But I love this offensive smokes that Reckons is currently doing, making sure they cannot look out, making sure they cannot actively do something, and then they can put in all the utility that Reckons still have, and they're able to loot up on the Fall Rivals fight that we saw earlier. 5 eliminations for Morph so far.
And with Morph being so defensive earlier, throwing those utilities, I think at this point, they're not going to have any utilities to kind of help them out here to try to breach out of this pin that they're currently on. Something to keep in mind. Yeah, I don't think they have any nades, and they might not have any smoke grenades as well. They really haven't gotten into that many fights because they've been in this gas station for so long.
I reckon it looks like they have this completely locked down here, 7. The question is, can they get more points? Can they squeeze anything more out of this? Or is Reckons just going to clean up? That would be 12 eliminations for them if they're able to get both of them. And the win, too, with another 15 points. It would be a 27-point game for Reckons. Wow. They're able to do so. Shots coming in. Lightning takes down Rocky. And it's now a 3 versus 1.
And for RSG, I think... I love that they're doing this. They're saying, hey, we don't have to push that. We can just let it happen. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. RSG ends up getting that chicken dinner. 26 points.
Whew. That's a
great start.
And both of these teams are middle pack teams right now. They are chasing. They're trying to get into the top here, 7. That's the really interesting one. But Reckons able to close this one out. The Wolf team, as you see here on screen with our amazing stage here in Riyadh. Really good game to start things off with here. Obviously, Wrangle, first game, they know it so well, but it ended up completely different to what we've seen so far. Damwon Kia really being able to step it up and get these eliminations that they have so hard been needing yesterday.
Yeah, and a battle that I was actually going to be looking forward to seeing between Vampire Esports and also how Star Wars Esports was going to be doing. Star Wars Esports actually being able to come out on top in regards to points and the rotations. I mean, the way Star Wars Esports are playing right now, it's just so slow, patient, let things happen. It's going to be great. The consistency out of this team, I'm just impressed.
Yeah, super impressed with what they're able to do, but the Circles just didn't play in the fair until later. But they're able to defend that high ground little house that they got so many eliminations and they squeezed out so many points from. But it went away from them. It went to the gas station, unfortunately. But I will say this first game here, amazing. Is there any other things that you were really liking that you saw here from the first game?
Morph, great start. Great start. Yesterday, I mean, they won first 2 games. They ended up with 0 points. For them to be able to finish second place here, even if it's not chicken, that's just going to be such a confidence boost for them.
Yeah, exactly. All right. That was game number 1 here. We're going to go over to the desk here with the match ranking sponsored by SCC.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. As we do see RSG, there were questions, and to be perfectly honest, I was talking to Max Span, to Kalaris, to John Allen, and Blake watching the game of, I'm really disappointed in what China's actually brought to the table in this event so far. And of course, Karma completely biting me in the backside. 26 points here for RSG, but honestly, GZ was the star player in my eyes for that team, keeping them alive time in and time out.
Yeah, the way they were peeking under that wall side, if they saw just a pixel of movement, they were going to instantly shoot down the players of Morph. And really, the way they cleared the eastern side, which you already mentioned also, Kalaris, in the green room, it is not an easy position to clear. There's a lot of open areas, not a lot of really good peeking spots, and yet they cleared out most of the teams on that area, cleared a lot of space, and then just went for the push onto Morph at the end.
Definitely. A lot of the fields on the east side of that kind of gas station position, they're very... there's no bumps really that provide you any cover whatsoever. Some of the fields in this game and stuff like that, they have like little bumps divots here and there. Yeah, divots and stuff, but not on that side. So well done by RSG to take these points. I'm not going to do more hand motions, Jason.
I know you guys can't see it on air, but he's done so many so far. And
I could be a politician talking with my hands, doing what I'm doing.
I mean, if you guys actually don't know, off air, you do have the casters actually just mimicking what James does do here on air that you guys can't see. Anyways, moving on though, you can see Morph, those 17 points, fantastic for them. Damn one, Kia.
Damn one.
I wanted to see more out of them, and they show up with 16 points. Junior, if I'm not mistaken, Junior able to really get them higher up on the rankings and really lock in some points.
He almost in a case, Stalwart did not get the win, but he really did put a lot of work against Stalwart, right? And he got, I think, a flush and also a knock in the first place. So it did buy a lot of time for him and his team and get a few extra eliminations here and there.
Yes, thank you, Max, for rubbing that in that Stalwart didn't win. As it was my prediction.
It was intentional.
They were close. But Damwon Kia, you can see the adaptation from day 1 to day 2 already. If you think about, we saw Circle 2 pop, almost identical to Circle 2 from Game 1 from yesterday. They rush the warehouse in Rozhok, and then as that circle moves north, they have a great opportunity to use the vehicles that they've got in the safe in the warehouse to move up into potential priority positions up towards the south positions in Severny. So they're really playing their placement position game very, very well, and that is converting into some eliminations here, which if we see them continue to do that, Damwon Kia, they could rack up big points throughout the day.
I really think if they still had 4 players alive on that final push on Stalwart, I think there's a chance they win the fight, take their spot, and then have an opportunity to snowball into a win. So I definitely feel like their macro has improved significantly. We're going for donuts in that game. They did struggle a little bit towards the end game. They were just in that showroom position, and all teams are looking in their vicinity. It was hard to move out of that.
I just love seeing things like that for Damwon Kia because it's such strong cerebral play from day to day. It shows that they are master tacticians to be able to kind of take away where all these other teams are moving around them and say, this is our opening. This is a building. Especially Donuts I could talk about this forever, I'm sorry. Especially Donuts USG, who comes from a region where Japan actually does fight against South Korea, and they know not only that Donuts USG is in Rozhok, they know exactly which buildings they're going to be taking. So they can adapt to that, even just in these micro decisions.
Especially in that circle, you want to go for it.
All right. Well, I mean, we did have obviously some teams a little bit shy. I want to say, looking at Donuts, they did have a couple of opportunities in there. But hey, 6 points. They're keeping themselves going forward, right? Not a big deal. For you guys at home, it's a shout out here to Aramco as well, another sponsor, another provider here to make sure this event has been happening for all of us to enjoy, not us just here, not just the players as well, but you guys at home who are watching. But we got to move forward though and talk about again this game. It's just the first one of 6 today. We got to see some teams start to show up. I think there's a lot of questions in our mind of how would teams be able to recoup or revitalize or do something differently with